Whispers of the Lighthouse. Chapter 1. The Call of the Sea. Eleanor Reed had spent her childhood in the small coastal town of Blackwater Bay, a place where the wind carried secrets and the waves whispered forgotten stories. At the edge of the town, standing tall against the merciless ocean, was Blackwater Lighthouse. It had guided sailors for over 100 years, but for Eleanor, it was more than just a tower. It was a symbol of the past. Her grandfather, Thomas Reed, had been the lighthouse keeper until the day he disappeared. No one knew what happened. One night, during a violent storm, he was seen climbing the lighthouse, but when the storm passed, he was gone. Some believed he had been taken by the sea, others whispered about the curse of the lighthouse. Now, 20 years later, Eleanor had returned. The lighthouse had been abandoned, its walls covered in ivy, its lantern shattered. But something inside her told her she needed to be there. As she stepped inside, dust swirled around her feet. The air was thick with the scent of salt and decay. The wooden floor creaked beneath her weight. And then she heard it. A whisper. Chapter 2. The Hidden Journal. Eleanor froze. The whisper was faint, almost like the wind, but it carried a name. Eleanor. She turned, heart pounding, but the room was empty. Shaking off her fear, she climbed the spiral staircase to the top. The lantern room was in ruins, glass shattered, rusted metal, and an old wooden desk covered in dust. She wiped the dust away and found something unexpected, a leather-bound journal. It was old, but when she opened it, the ink was still legible. The first page read, "If I disappear, know that the lighthouse is not what it seems. There is something here, watching, waiting, and soon it will take me too." The signature at the bottom made Eleanor's breath catch. Thomas Reed. Chapter 3. The Shadows of the Past. Eleanor read through the journal, each page revealing strange events, objects moving on their own, shadows lurking in the corners, voices in the night. Then, the final entry. "Tonight is the night. The whispers are louder. It is calling me to the top of the lighthouse. I must know the truth." A chill ran down her spine. What truth? A sudden gust of wind slammed the door shut. Eleanor spun around, but she was alone. Or was she? A shadow flickered at the edge of her vision. She turned towards the spiral staircase, and for the first time, she saw it. A figure standing at the top. It was tall, dressed in an old lighthouse keeper's coat. Its face was hidden in darkness. But then, the figure took a step forward, and Eleanor gasped. It was her grandfather. Chapter 4. The Truth Revealed. "Grandpa?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. The figure raised a hand and pointed to the journal. "Read the last page," the whisper came, not from his mouth, but from the air itself. Eleanor's hands trembled as she flipped to the back of the journal. There was one final note, written in shaky handwriting. "To whoever finds this, know that I have crossed the veil. The lighthouse is a doorway, not just for lost sailors, but for lost souls. I am not gone. I am here, between the tides, between the light and the dark, and now, so are you." Eleanor's blood ran cold. The walls seemed to shift, the light flickered, and suddenly, she understood. Her grandfather had never left. He had become part of the lighthouse, and now, the lighthouse was calling her too. She felt the wind pull at her, the whispers growing stronger, her vision blurred. But before she could take another step, a voice broke through the haze, her own voice. "No." With all her strength, she turned and ran, stumbling down the stairs, out the door, and into the cold night. The moment she crossed the threshold, the whispers stopped. The lighthouse stood silent, as if it had never spoken at all. Epilogue. The Lighthouse Watches. Eleanor left Blackwater Bay the next morning, but she knew she would never truly be free, because every night as she closed her eyes, she still heard the whispers, and in her dreams she still saw the lighthouse, waiting for her return.